This is Mr. Egemen Bağış. He is the Turkish ambassador to Czech Republic. Thank you very much, Mr. Bağış, for joining us on this special transmission. Please tell me, what are your thoughts?
Well, another election seems to be over for now. At least the electoral have spoken, and the vote count has been completed. But President Trump has already announced that he is going to pursue his rights vis-a-vis the courts. As you mentioned, many global leaders are now sending messages to congratulate President-elect Joe Biden. And one of them is the Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, where I represent my great nation and my great country. Prime Minister Bağış already sent out tweet messages that he's looking forward to working with Joe Biden. He was known to be a good friend of Trump. But in politics, there are no permanent friendships or permanent animosities. And as far as Turkey is concerned, as our foreign minister, Mr. Çavuşoğlu, had announced, we will respect the decision of the American people. Will the American politicians respect the will of the American people is another question that we have to follow and see, because this was a very close race. No matter who was declared victorious, the other party would pursue their natural and legal democratic rights for a recount. I'm sure President Trump is going to request in many states to have the ballots recounted. And if he can change the result, he might as well serve for a second term. But if he cannot, then we will be having a new era with a democratic president and a new vice president, maybe the first female and vice president of color. And she might even be the future president of the United States. So it's a very interesting era. But as far as Turkish-American relations are concerned, the strategic relationship between the United States and Turkey are not based on individuals, are based on principles, common values, and common objectives. We have a very important past, and things that bind us will force both sides to protect the future, the mutual future ahead of us.
Right.
Turkey is the most eastern part of the West and the most western part of the East, a very important NATO ally. As a matter of fact, the second largest military force within NATO after the United States. And Turkey is neighboring very important countries like Iraq and Syria, Iran, Russia, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Bulgaria. I mean, those are all very important countries for the United States as well. So no matter who becomes the next president, they will have to work with Turkey. And the Turkish-American alliance, the Turkish-American strategic partnership, is bigger than individuals or political parties.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Bağış, back in December of 2019, Joe Biden made some controversial remarks against an elected government here in Turkey. Now that he is the president of the United States, how do you see those remarks impacting the future of the relationship between the two countries?
Well, he's not the first American politician to say things anti-Turkey or against Turkey when running for office. As a matter of fact, I'll give an example. Every American president who has ever run for the presidency has promised to the Armenian Americans that they would use the G word if they are elected. And no one of them has. And that's because once they sit in the Oval Office, they realize the importance of an ally like Turkey. As we say in Turkish, the head that wears the crown gets wiser. Turkey's importance, strategic importance, military importance, commercial importance, Turkey's abilities in the greater geography, the Middle East, Central Asia, the Caucasus, especially the Caspian, is so vital to U.S. interests that U.S. government system and decision makers understand the tip points of and the nerve points of the Turkish decision-making process. So,
right.
yes, Joe Biden has made unnecessary remarks at a meeting with some New York Times editorials. And the United States, and he has made some remarks. But once elected, he knows he has to work with Turkey's democratically elected leaders and President Erdogan.
Right. So, just to summarize, how different will be Turkey's relationship with the United States under the Biden administration? How different would it be from how the relationship was under the Trump administration?
Well, as you know, there is a line of thinking that Republicans have better relations with Turkey. But we have seen the era of Clinton, where the relations really prospered, and Clinton came to Turkey several times. I happened to serve as an interpreter, and I spent several days with him during the 1999 earthquake in the aftermath of the earthquake, when he came for the OSCE summit. And I witnessed his approach and the speech he made at the Turkish parliament back in 1999. I can never forget interpreting that line when he said the next 100 years will be determined by the choices Turkey makes. That's a very important, very bold, very strong statement, and he was right. Not only for Turkey, and not only for the United States, for many countries, Turkey's position is important. Turkey's role in Libya, Turkey's role in Syria, Turkey's role in Iraq, Turkey's relations with Iran, Turkey's cooperation with Russia, Turkey's influence in the Middle East, in the Central Asian republics, are so vital to U.S. interests that even with democratic administrations, our relations are going to prosper, just like they have under President Trump. President Trump had a very different personality and different type of leadership. But President Erdogan knows how to deal with Biden as well, because he dealt with him when he was vice president, working under Obama. Actually, they had a better chemistry compared to Obama. So when the Americans really needed something, they would ask the vice president to talk to President Erdogan, because they had a good chemistry, they had a good relationship. So I don't foresee any problems in terms of the relationship. We have very wise and able diplomats in Washington, D.C., and they have very capable diplomats in Ankara. And the advisors around the leaders are going to be very important. One of the top foreign policy advisors of Joe Biden is a gentleman named Tony Blinken, who served as a Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Deputy Secretary of State under Obama administration. He knows Turkey very well. He was one of the guys who wrote that historical speech for President Clinton, as his, back then he was the Deputy National Security Advisor. So in the Democratic team, there are very wise, smart individuals who know Turkey, who knows Turkey's capabilities, who knows Turkey's sensitivities as well. And they will be very careful in making sure the next question in Washington will not be who lost Turkey.